Okay. Hello, everyone. Today, it's time to finish patch 4.1. Had some interesting stuff going on last time. Got some echo lore. Garleans are attempting to create an artificial echo. And we got some backstory on Fordola and a little bit on Ehrenwald. So I'm interested to see where this continues. Hello there, Parker and Ravioli. A Sultana's strings. Alphina's thoughts appear to have turned from adventure to administration. Well, the question of how to put the Mad King's treasures to good use shows no sign of answering itself. Shall we beat about it, Ehrenwald? I am at your beck and call. And I should be getting back to my own tasks. I'll organize a squad to head down into the ruins, and then start prepping for the big meeting. Oh, send Nanimo my regards, Jaguar. And ours too, if you please. We shall see you on your return. Going to Ul'dah. Time for the big meeting. Been a while since we've been back here in this meeting room. You are expected, my lord. Please proceed.
I thank you for answering my summons in these most interesting times. You have been busy. The liberation of Alamigo will have far-reaching consequences, and there is a matter upon which I would seek your counsel. I speak of Rauban and his future. All know the tale of his rise from penniless refugee to member of the Syndicate and General of the Immortal Flames. Yet though he has come to call Ul'dah home, it will never be his homeland. He is a son of Alamigo.
This feels very familiar, meeting privately with Nanimo.
And now that she is free, I thought it
End of
only a
Rome
matter
Reborn
of time before he
vibes.
sought my leave to return to her. Indeed, I had resigned myself to his loss. Suffice it to say, I was greatly surprised to hear him speak so lightly of handing over the reins in Alamigo and retaking his place at my side. I will welcome him with open arms, of course. He is my most trusted advisor and my dearest friend. But I have known the man a long time, and beneath that steely gaze, I spied a flicker of doubt. Whether Rauban chooses to remain in Ul'dah or return to Alamigo, I only wish that he do so with a heart unburdened by guilt or regret. Yet, how can he freely make such a choice, knowing how much I depend on him? It is past time that I learned to discharge my duties as a sultana alone. I must go forth and see my realm with my own eyes, and hear the wind with my own ears. Might I have your company for a brief adventure?
Yeah, nice.
Wonderful. Allow me a moment to change into something a touch less conspicuous, and I will join you outside.
This is the patch of adventures. Now we're going on an adventure with Nanimo. Perchance you remember Lilira, the merchant's daughter. This is the persona I assume when I venture beyond the palace walls to observe my subjects unnoticed. Ordinarily, Papa Shan would accompany me, but for this particular outing I need an advisor, not a minder. That is why I requested your company. Over the course of your many adventures, you've met people from all walks of life, in every corner of Eorzea, and I would make use of your worldly experience. Now let us be on our way. Our first destination is Stone's Throw, just beyond the Gate of Nald. Look upon this procession of tattered tents. These refugees camp in squalor, at the mercy of the elements and Thanaland's predators both. The city's mighty walls offer safety, but the streets overflow with people as it is, and unless blessed by the hand of Nald himself, no refugee could ever hope to afford a dwelling in Ul'dah. 20 years have passed since the fall of Alamigo, and 5 since the calamity. Yet the plight of the poor has grown more desperate, not less. As the Sultana, the blame falls upon me. You've done your best. Then my best has not been good enough. Shall we press on? I would follow the road to the unholy air. It was here, in this wholly unremarkable place, that my mother and father met their doom. I was but a child at the time. My parents were returning from an inspection of our interests in eastern Thanaland when an untimely rock slide crushed their carriage. To this day, it is not certain if the incident was simple misfortune or an expertly planned assassination. Raubon once offered to reopen the investigation and bring me the truth he assumed I must surely crave, but I refused. Even if my parents' death were orchestrated by the monetarists, we could only have brought their hirelings to justice. The true villains, those who plotted to put me on the throne as biddable puppet, were ever beyond our reach. Thus did I plan to strip the merchants of their power and place our nation in the hands of its citizens, quite unaware of the consequences my actions would have for you and yours. I shudder to think how many goodly souls paid the price of my naivety. But I am no longer a child reciting words with witless obedience, and I will not be used as a pawn in the monetarists' damnable games. Forgive me my outburst. You are one of the few people to whom I feel I can speak my mind. Come, let us return to Ul'dah and visit the Colosseum. So those dang monetarists might have killed Nanamo's parents. Always up to no good. My finals went great, Parker. Was fairly satisfied with all of my grades that I got. From the moment I became Sultana, I found myself thrust into an endless parade of document signing and ceremonies. For years, I simply signed where I was told to sign, and sat where I was told to sit, blissfully oblivious to what any of it meant. Yet one good thing did come from that ignominious chapter in my life, for it was during an official visit to the Colosseum that I first met Raubon. The match I had been invited to attend was not at all what I expected. They had pitted the Bull of Alamigo against some dozen or so rival gladiators. Blinkered though I was, I would not stand for so obvious an injustice, and demanded to see a fair fight, one man against another, and my royal wish was duly granted. It was not until later that I learned of the gambling ring which had arranged for Raubon to die on the sands that day. Regardless, my intervention meant that Raubon had but a single opponent to dispatch, which he duly did, and when he knelt before me to receive the winner's purse, he swore that he would one day offer me his blade in service. Surrounded as I was by liars and manipulators, I confess I dismissed it as a pleasant piece of theater. But as you know, Raubon is a man of his word. Though it took him another 5 years of fighting on the blood sands, he amassed a fortune so great as to buy not only his freedom, but a seat on the syndicate, and then I had my blade. That's nice. More backstory. Yeah. Raubon for the win.
Your Grace, you mustn't! The danger is too great! Please, Your Grace, come back! I beg of you!
It seems you're the one who needs looking after, Master Shell. Raubon!
Your Grace, I have kept the promise made.
So you have, and in turn, so too shall I keep mine. With your winnings, you have become one of the 6 most wealthy souls in all Uldar, and so, as tradition dictates, Raubon Aldin, you have earned yourself a seat on the Syndicate. May your new station garner you still greater glories.
I am honored, Your Grace, and vow to serve with every fiber of my being from this day till my last. Long live the Sultana, and long live Uldar!
Oh, that's nice. Words cannot well express what that man means to me. There are others who care deeply for my well-being, of course. Papa Shan's love for me is that of a grandsire for his grandchild. But upon matters of governance, I cannot turn to bodyguards and maidservants for counsel. Raubon, with the authority of his syndicate position, was the first sword I could wield. His was the only edge which could cut the strings that bound me. Sultana's duty. Nanamo seems lost in thoughts of the past. We must make haste. My absence will not go unnoticed by the Sultan sworn for long, and there are other places I would visit. To the Arzaneth ossuary. This patch has been a nice little backstory dump for several characters. Kind of works well after the big finale of Stormblood. Now we're just getting to learn a bunch of lore. When the calamity threatened, Raubon led the Alliance forces into battle on the plains of Cartanu, and I remained here. I prayed with all my heart that Archon Louiswall would have the power to rouse the 12. Since that day, I have made a custom of visiting this shrine during each of my little excursions. Here, I seek the blessing of Thal, reflect upon my choices, and ask myself if I am fulfilling my duties as Sultana. You are rightly celebrated as champion because you have led the line in 100 battles, for the good of Eorzea. In much the same way, I believe the measure of monarch lies in how she leads her people in times of adversity. If I am to be a sultana worthy of the name, I cannot turn a blind eye to the troubles facing Ul'dah. I've chosen my path, Jaguar. With Alamigo now freed from imperial chains, I finally see a way to aid the refugees. Already, many displaced Almegans seek to begin the long trek home. To facilitate that process, I've made a small contribution in Artisan's School in Raugur's Reach for any who wish to learn new trades. Realistically, however, it will take years for such training to yield tangible benefits. But we do not have years. These people will need shelter and employment if they are to survive. And this time the Ul'dah treasury shall provide. Precisely where and how to allocate the necessary funds is, of course, another question. Why not seek the advice of one who employs refugees? A wise suggestion. Mayhap a visit to the Gold Saucer is in order. Its proprietor is a member of the syndicate, and he is one of the few who pay refugees a fair wage. I wonder, are you acquainted with Godbert Manderveld? Yes, I am. Gonna go pay Godbert a visit in the MSQ. Then I need not explain his eccentric nature. Let us make our way to the landing, and I will see that word is sent to the Gold Saucer. Godbert should be only too glad to receive us. Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I've ridden aboard a public airship before. This shall be my first visit to the Gold Saucer. I must confess to some excitement. I'd heard descriptions of its splendor, yet I never dreamed it would be so bright and inviting. No, I couldn't possibly. We did not come here to fritter away the royal coin. Godbert will be expecting us. Come, let us head directly to the lounge and ignore these gaudy temptations. No, we gotta just casually gamble away all of Ulda's savings here at the Gold Saucer. Who really needs to save the people anyways when you got mini games here to play? I believe this is where we are to meet Lord Van Manderville. Shall we sit while we await his coming? Bring on Godbert. There's the man. My apologies, Your Grace. I've kept you waiting. No apologies are necessary, Godbert. My request was sudden, and you were kind to make yourself available at such short notice. When the intrepid Jaguar Evergreen and the Sultana herself come calling, there's no more important engagement. As for the purpose of my visit, I would have your thoughts on how the Crown might best aid the refugees residing in Thanalan. You are aware, I am sure, that many of Alamigo's displaced sons and daughters long to return to their newly liberated homeland, and you are also aware of how they will suffer without shelter and work to sustain them. I would use our nation's wealth to spare them that suffering. What advice have you for me on the matter of how it might best be distributed? The unusual circumstances of our meeting, and Your Grace's choice of companion, would suggest to me a desire for an honest and unvarnished opinion. I shall give you one. My advice to you is, stop. Taxing Ulda's wealth to save Alamican refugees is a terrible idea. You oppose my proposition? Most empathetically, I agree with Your Grace that the refugees must have housing and employment. What profit is there for Ulda in this arrangement? Profit? After all you have done for Garabania's displaced, I thought you the very last person to seek to benefit from their misfortune. Forgive me, Your Grace, but you appear to be laboring under a misapprehension. It is a fine endeavor to support one's fellow man. I fear, however, that your stance is born out of pity. Your intent to save the refugees, is it not? For all our potential, we are indolent creatures by nature. If unconditional charity is all we know, then we begin to rely upon it, to expect it. And then we must consider Ulda's own poor and downtrodden. Should they hear of you spending the nation's coin, not to improve their lot, but to nurture the distant citizens of Alamigo, it's unlikely that they will applaud your generosity. Surely it is not Your Grace's intention to foster new resentments, but spread goodwill? He has a good point. Indeed, then any support I pledge to the refugees must promote self-sufficiency, whilst also serving the interests of the people of Ul'dah. Exactly so. Such an arrangement will create a far more equitable relationship with the returning Alamegans, even as it generates the revenue required to win the approval of your subjects. You have given me much to ponder, Lord Manderville. I thank you for your candor. Sultana's resolve. Nanamo appears to be reassessing her plans. Prophet. The thought never even crossed my mind. But standing about lamenting my naivety will not do anyone any good. I shall consider my lesson learned and press on. Jaguar, are you perchance acquainted with any successful merchants? If my attempt at philanthropy is obliged to reap a profit, it would seem wise to consult someone with a knack for business. Ordinarily, I would not trust any agent of the East Aldenard Trading Company, but if you hold this Hancock fellow in high esteem, I'm content to be led by you. You may repay my faith by journeying to distant Kugani and speaking with him on my behalf. Eager though I am to visit those shores, I've not the leisure for a lengthy sea voyage. Now, assuming you will travel as adventurers are wont to do, I shall await your report by the Aetheryte in Ul'dah. A fair journey to you, Jaguar, and a swift one, if you please. Interesting. So we're gonna talk to Hancock now. Find out what ideas he has for solving this problem. Greetings, honored sir. Will you be entering the Ruby Bazaar offices? Jaguar, to what do I owe the pleasure? Or are you here on business? I beg your pardon. Her Grace of the Sultana would have my opinion on how to invest the wealth of Ul'dah? My dear Jaguar, I have you to thank for this recognition, I'm sure. And I'm flattered that you came to me, truly flattered. But why settle for a lowly apprentice when you could have the master? Upon the matters of profit, there's no living soul better qualified to advise Her Grace than Chairman Lolorito. Oh boy, a man whose morning exertions are said to fill his garderobe with gold. Should be happy to arrange a meeting for you, say, at the Scion's former headquarters in Thanalan. The Waking Sands would seem a suitably neutral venue for negotiations, don't you think? Fare you well, Jaguar, and may your dealings prove fruitful. I don't trust Lolorito. Welcome back, Jaguar. Did your merchant friend have any useful advice to share? Well, with Lolorito, and you agreed to this? I'm well aware of his standing with the field of business, but I'd hoped to keep the monetarists at arm's length, and him in particular. Nay, I cannot live in fear of the man. I must learn how to treat with him if I am to rule Ul'dah effectively. Good point. Very well, I will meet with Lolorito. Let us go on ahead to the Waking Sands and prepare for his coming. It's been forever since we've had to pray return to the Waking Sands. Oh, nice. It just automatically ported us here. So this is where the Scions first congregated. I've heard many tales, but never had the occasion to visit. To work then. The hour of the meeting draws near. Now to gather my thoughts. Pray see to it that we have the appointed room to ourselves.
Personal summons from the Scions. This must be important business indeed. Though, if it concerns anything so underhand as an assassination, I fear I can be of little help.
Assassination. The way he sat in that chair. Threw himself on that chair.
You have made your point. It is indeed unsettling to find oneself seated across from an impassive mask.
Oh, he's gonna take off his mask?
There. Would this better
Oh,
please
wow.
your grace? Or should I address you as Lady Lilira?
Wait, Lady Lilira?
Nay, the deception has served its purpose.
Oh yeah,
I'm glad
that
to
was
see
the
you
name
found
for her
amusement in my little jest, Lord
disguise.
Lolorito. But shall we proceed to the business at hand?
Oh, I see she was wearing a mask.
I must say I am most eager to
To-
hear your proposal.
She's wearing a mask to make her feel as uncomfortable as he makes people feel with his mask. Oh, wow, I did not expect him to look like this. Bright yellow eyes.
Simply put, I would aid the refugees camped in Thanalan in their efforts to return to Alamigo. The reparations you paid in the wake of your earlier misdemeanors will be used to fund the endeavor, together with the fortune seized from the late Teleji Adeleji's estate. But this plan is not intended to benefit the displaced alone. I would make of this an investment which shall enrich Ul'dah and Alamigo both. And who better to consult on matters of profit than the wealthiest man in all of Thanalan? I beseech you then, Lord Lolorito, share with us your mercantile wisdom.
Ah, 'twould seem your grace has matured beyond acts of earnest yet misplaced charity. Pray tell me more. To summarize, in return for facilitating the repatriation of refugees and assisting in the establishment of new industry in Alamigo, you ask that a proportion of all subsequent profits be promised to Ul'dah. Huh, I am impressed, Your Grace. 'Tis an elegant solution. albeit one lacking certain crucial details, specifically which industry and where.
Oh, I see.
How swiftly you identified the weakness in my plan, just as I knew you would. Your travels have taken you across the length and breadth of Gir Abania, and you know the land far better than I. Which of the settlements you visited would best provide a home for our refugees? Which has the greatest potential to flourish, given the appropriate investment?
Alagana, Algiri, the Saltery. I don't remember what the Saltery was. I'll choose that one. I don't know what to pick there.
Ah, yes, that desolate little village on the shore of Loch Seld.
Oh, I think I remember that now.
I know the Saltery and its products well. The Imperial invasion brought an end to their more widespread distribution, much to the dismay of many a wealthy gourmand, myself included. Salt has ever been a transformative ingredient, and in this instance, I dare say, it could transform a modicum of effort into a mountain of gil.
The local citizens will need to be consulted, of course, but I trust the East Aldenar Trading Company can be relied upon to provide its assistance in negotiating a mutually beneficial arrangement.
Naturally, Your Grace. I shall dispatch representatives well versed in the extraction of this white gold and wring every last ounce of profit from its production. The Loch's bounty will contribute to Alamigo's enrichment, whilst easing the burden on the bull's aching shoulders, just as Your Grace desired.
A deal is struck then.
That's smart. So profits go back to Ul'dah, and so it's benefiting them both. I fear it will be many years before I feel comfortable taking part in such negotiations. But I shall not complain. We have piqued Lolorito's interest and secured invaluable expertise. Thank you, Jaguar. Could not have done it without you. Securing the Saltery. Nanamo is ready to move ahead with her plans. Our course is decided. I shall return to the palace and have my ministers begin work on implementing the particulars of the plan. If I could prevail upon you one more time, Jaguar, I would ask that you convey the details of our negotiations to Commander Hext on your return to Alamigo. My thanks again. Together, we have laid the groundwork for an endeavor which promises to benefit the peoples of Alamigo and Ul'dah both. Still feel like I don't trust Lolorito. But I guess in this case, his knowledge is valuable, since getting as much money as possible is kind of his thing. Profits and stuff. Oh, greetings, Jaguar. I'm actually in the middle of reporting to the commander here, so, in your absence, I've kept myself busy cataloging the riches of the Mad King's Trove and calculating its worth in gil. I have some way to go, but the figure is already quite staggering. Welcome back, Jaguar. How was your audience with the Sultana? Jaguar, you're back. What did Nanamo... Oh, sorry. Are you allowed to talk about your audience with the Sultana? So, Raubon says he's going to return to Ul'dah, but she isn't sure he wants to. Tell us something we don't know, but I'm pleased to hear she's committed to helping our refugees come home. And this plan to revitalize the Saltery does make a lot of sense. Quite how you convinced her to seek Lolorito's help is another question. After all that has happened, he's the very last person I would expect her to turn to for advice. Yeah, same. He's the last person I would want to turn to advice. After everything that happened at the end of Realm Reborn. But on a more practical note, Lise, assuming the interim government elects to accept Ul'dah's proposal, I have one caveat I should like you to include in the bargain. Alamigo must be permitted to cover a portion of the investment. We have a fortune at our disposal, after all, and allowing Ul'dah to provide the entirety of the capital will afford Lolorito too much control. Yeah, we don't want him to have too much control. Honestly, Alphino, it's like Kugane never happened. What exactly does a ruthless profiteer have to do to earn your trust? But yes, you do make a good point. First things first, though. We need to discuss this proposal with the Saltery's residents. Whiskar, how do you fancy explaining the Sultana's plan to your grandfather? I'd like to hear what Watt thinks of the idea before agreeing to anything. Right away, Commander. Would you mind coming along, Jaguar? I might need you to fill in the details. Then I shall come as well. Should Watt wish to discuss figures, my knowledge of the nation's finances may prove useful. Alright, so yeah, the Saltery is this abandoned village over here. I remember it now. Let's go and see Granddad. He's going to want to hear this. Ideally, one would want Alamigo's stake to match Ul'dah's gill for gill, in combination with a cast iron contract that should serve to prevent Lolorito from making off with all the profits. What manner of mischief brings you youngins to Old Watt this time, eh? They want to rebuild the Saltery, Granddad. Jaguar, tell them about the deal. Well, bugger me. We've never had the coin or the hands to put the place back to how it was. But it sounds like that's about to change. There's just one small wrinkle in your plan. It doesn't account for all the nasties queuing up to eat anyone who goes near the shore. The king used to send soldiers to kill the buggers. But the Imperials weren't about to help the likes of us. Don't worry, Granddad. We'll take care of all that. Commander Hext has been talking about starting up regular patrols. I'm sure she'd assign me to the lock if I asked. I'd appreciate that, Whiskar, my lad. Truly I would. So, does this mean you've gotten better with that blade of yours? I've been training, mostly to kill Imperials. You've some experience hunting monsters, don't you, Jaguar? Think you could cast an eye over a few of the local beasties, teach me how to deal with them? Sure, let's kill some monsters. Let's not waste any time then. I'll see you by the lock. Whilst you are busy attending to the local fauna, I shall have Master Watt explain to me exactly what is required to restore the Saltery to its former glory. Good hunting. Right then, Jaguar. I've got a spyglass here you can use to take a closer look at these pests. Once you've got their measure, you can tell me what to do, and we'll see how well I get on. Find the Yabby's weak point. Seems like it's heavily armored everywhere. I don't understand. I feel like I've clicked everywhere on this monster. Oh, it's Jaw. There we go. The Yabby's entire body is protected by a hard carapace, but the underside of the head looks soft and vulnerable. Ah, looks like you found a Yabby. They say hitting their shells like smacking a rock. Any suggestions? The soft underside of the head, apparently. Even though it kind of looks like the same rock substance as the rest of it. Vulnerable under the head, are they? Right then. Wish me luck. Nice. Thanks, Jaguar. I did just as you told me, and the Wavekin went down like a sack of potatoes. Let's find something else. I think I can handle the yabbies now, so we should try something different. What else is out there? What's weak about this monster? Its eye. I see now. Blue text pops up when you're hovering over the right thing, so I don't have to just keep clicking to guess. The Phobad's hands are very large and powerful, but destroying its crystallized core should render the salt golem inanimate. You sense power pulsating from behind its brow. A Phobad? How do I defeat one of those? Destroy the core within its brow. The other option, just hit it really, really hard. Inside its head, is it? I'll try to stab it right between the eyes then. Got him. Looks like a flattened pancake now. It's not easy fighting with the Liberator of Alamigo watching your every move, but I got the job done. Thanks for the advice, Jaguar. I feel a lot better prepared for my patrols now. Any road, we should head back to the Saltery before Granddad starts to worry I've been snipped to pieces and fed to a Yabby's hatchlings. For the merchants of Ul'dah, a well-constructed contract is both sword and shield, and Wat must understand this if we are to meet them on an even field. Speaking of battles, does Whiskar seem equal to the task of thinning the Loch's monster population? He certainly seemed eager enough. I see you've returned in one piece. Dealt with those beasties then, did you? Aye, fought them myself. After a bit of instruction from Jaguar here, like. Once I've shared what I've learned with the others, we should have no trouble keeping the shoreline clear. Good lad. Fine young man you've become, Whiskar. Fine young man indeed. Too often of late I hear tales of folk over in the city, drunk on victory and hungry for revenge, their heads stuck firmly in the past. But we need to set our sights on the future, on things which will improve our lot. Things like getting the Saltery ready to welcome our long-lost countrymen. A blissful arrival. Alphino seems satisfied that he and Wat are of one mind. seems Whiskar has the Saltery's security well in hand. I, meanwhile, have discussed the next steps with Master Watt and completed my inspection of the site. With a little work, the vacant buildings here could be made into very presentable dwellings. Message from General Alden. Apologies for the interruption, sir, but the General would speak with you at your earliest convenience. Do not feel obliged to wait around on my account. I will remain here to hammer out the finer details with Watt and act as an intermediary with our business partners in Ul'dah. You should go. General Alden asks that you wait for him by the main gate in the Alamegan quarter. My apologies again, sir. Fare you well. Unexpected meeting with Raubon, then. This is nice. There's always so many stars in the sky in Eorzea.
Apologies for the wait. People are screaming for the butcher's blood again. No sooner have we broken up one mob than another forms. Thankfully, all have been amenable to reason, thus far. But it is no concern of yours. We must speak of the men Arenvald and his comrades apprehended in the peaks.
By their uniforms, the captives were first judged to be Imperial troops. But after further investigation, their true identities came to light. I dare say you remember Yuyuhasi and Laurentius, the fugitives who conspired with Captain Ilberd in the Crystal Brave's betrayal. Aye, well, it would seem they followed him all the way to the wall. It was they who orchestrated the slaughter of the Resistance fighters prior to the Griffin's infernal ritual.
Were it in your hands, how would you punish these men?
Laurentius is one of them. Didn't we give that dude a second chance and he turned against us again? I want to say their lives would be forfeit.
Hear, hear. There is no more fitting sentence for the perpetrators of such a massacre, and that is but one of their crimes. In any event, I thank you for your honesty. When the time comes for the Alliance to pass judgment, I'll see that your opinion is heard. Well, that concludes our business here. But there is more I would say. Walk with me. I bear a share of the blame for Ilberd's atrocities. Had I openly supported the cause of Alamegan liberation, he might not have felt driven to do what he did. Things could have been different, and I'm sorry they aren't. But even after all that has happened, my homeland is free. With the Scions and the Alliance at their side, my countrymen have reclaimed what many thought lost forever. Under her new leadership, I have every confidence that Alamigo will emerge from the shadow of the Empire and rise once more to greatness. Which means my work here is done. Soon I will return to Uldar and take my place at the Sultana's side.
But you don't want to do that? That's what I'm guessing.
Father,
I'll not deny there's a part of me that wants to stay.
Yeah.
The same part that contemplated renouncing my rank and joining you as a wandering sellsword. But I pledged my blade to Nanamo, and I will not betray that oath.
is this truly what you want, Father?
It is. Ever has my sword been hers to command, and ever shall it remain.
But what if she gives you the ability to choose?
Thank you for lending an ear. When all the rest are clamoring for me to stay, I trust you'll send me on my way.
Because then you wouldn't be breaking her promise if she's the one that's saying that he could go to Alamigo if he wanted to. Ehrenwald seems flustered. Something is amiss. I was just on my way to the Saltery. It's lucky I saw you. That took longer than I intended, but at least you know where I stand. Now that's settled. Ehrenwald, what news? We may have a problem, sir. A group of Ananta has arrived at the main gates. And I don't mean Levira. These are Kalyana, the ones that summoned the Primal. Uh-oh. They're insisting they may be allowed to attend the council. Lisa's trying to reason with them, but she may need help. An invitation was extended to all of the native beast tribes, but we assumed the Kalyana would refuse it out of hand. We'd best go and see for ourselves. Pippin, take command of our forces and be ready for battle. Jaguar, you've dealt with these Kalyana before. I'd have you at my side. Of course. Of course. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Guess we can go through this gate right here. Probably faster than flying all the way up. Jaguar, Raubon, gods, it's good to see you. Ah, the Slayer has come. We have not forgotten now how you have sinned against the Lady of Bliss. But we did not come here to shed blood. Ah yes, the snake people again and their S's. You claim to seek harmony with all who call Girabania home. If this is truly your wish, you will welcome us as envoys of the Ananta. It is our wish, and you are welcome, but we cannot condone the summoning of primals. If you wish to enter the palace, I must ask that you first surrender any crystal jewelry. You have my word that it will all be returned to you when the meeting is over. We will do as you asked, but you will not have our weapons. We are not so foolish as to place ourselves entirely at the mercy of our tormentors. I reckon that's the closest we're going to get to a compromise, and we will have people standing guard. Aye, let them keep their swords. Then we have an agreement. Lead the way to your meeting chamber. Why do I have the feeling we've welcomed a Viper into our midst? Nah, don't worry, Raubon. That's not until Dawn Trail. Turning the Kalyana away now would have made a mockery of Lisa's promise to give everyone a say. She couldn't not let them in. Yeah, I agree. Return of the Bull. Raubon seems unconvinced by the Kalyana's sincerity. The Kalyana's elders' intentions seem at odds with all we know of her tribe. What think you, Jaguar? Maybe even the enthralled can learn to compromise. You believe an understanding can be reached? It's not entirely unheard of, I suppose. Those who followed Saint Shiva eventually sought reconciliation with Ishgard. Yeah. Can't say it's a lost cause until we've at least attempted to come to an agreement with them. Whatever the truth, I would take no chances. The guard must be strengthened, ideally with people who know a thing or two about primals. Can we rely on the Scions? I'll round up our comrades and send them to the Alamegan quarter. You can go on ahead if you like, Jaguar. My thanks. I will see you in the palace. Jaguar, I brought reinforcements. Ehrenwald told me of the arrival of our unexpected guests, and I agreed that it would be prudent to call upon Y'shtola and Thancred as well. One can never be too careful when dealing with the enthralled. I'm not familiar with the Kalyana tribe myself, but Alizé's report suggested that they shunned contact with other races, despised it, in fact, even compared to other Ananta. Indeed, this apparent reversal in attitude is most curious. No one expected a response to our invitation, much less an envoy. I imagine Lys was forced to make some rather hasty arrangements in order to accommodate them. Speaking of which, how should we deploy ourselves? If the meeting is to be held in the throne room, it would seem wise to have eyes both inside and outside the palace. Y'shtola and I can stand guard without. That leaves the three of you to keep watch of the proceedings in the throne room itself. Understood. We should join General Alden inside then. Jaguar, do you know of the rear entrance to the palace? It's on the eastern edge of the city, at the top of the stairs. The guard there should have been instructed to let us pass. If we could somehow come to an understanding with the Kalyana, it would represent a great step towards resolving the primal dilemma in Alamigo. I only hope they are sincere in their intentions. The rear entrance to the palace is just up these steps. The guard should wave us through. You're with the Scions, sir. General Alden left orders that you were to be escorted inside. If you'll follow me.
Thank you all for coming. I am Lys Hext, and I speak for the Resistance. Among you are village elders, refugee leaders, envoys from the Ananta and the Kikern. You've come from every corner of Girabania to help decide the future of Alamigo. But before that, I want to ask you a question. What was the first thing you noticed when you came in? For me, it was that empty throne. It has no one to sit on it now. No viceroy, no king. Would any of you like to take their place? Or should someone else sit there? Then let's sit here in a circle. As equals, and I hope, as friends.
Yeah. It's going the path of not having a monarchy, some sort of other government system.
Expertly done. Lys has removed monarchy as a choice early in the game, and position them to consider a joint government.
Yeah.
All things considered, I would say events have got off to a fine start.
And that is Alagana's stance on the matter.
Thank you, Ravenford. Another vote in favor. Next, let's hear from Shanti of the Kalyana. Tell us, How do your people feel about the idea of a republic?
Oh.
The Ananta wish only that those who dwell within Gir Abania devote themselves to our faith. You shall all worship Sri Lakshmi!
Uh-oh.
Lady of bliss, grace us once more with your beauteous visage!
Wait. He's using the water? Oh, dang.
This can't be happening. No crystals were allowed through the door.
We can worry about the how of it later. We need to evacuate these people right now, or the Primal will make thralls of them all.
She used the water?
It's up to us.
Nice, Raubon. Just putting an end to that right there and there. Right then and there. If we know anything about Raubon, it's that he's not afraid to slice people in half. Oh, nice, because me and Ehrenwald both have the Echo, so we shielded them.
God damn it! The guards were already turned! Fools!
No, you don't!
The Kalyana would see us all enthralled.
Then they're going to be sorely disappointed. We have the Warrior of Light and Arenvold to shield us.
Aye, but they can't well defend your guests and attack the Primal, can they? We're stuck on the back foot.
All right, I think I have an idea. Keep these people safe, General. I'll be back as soon as I can.
Whatever she's about, you best make it quick. Come then. Who will be next to die on my steel?
Oh, now I've got an event. Let the other underlings come to me. You have a primal to fight. Okay, so you can talk to Raubon if you want to leave. How do we fight her without leaving our allies wide open? Can't stay on the back foot forever. No, damn it. If I think like that, we've already lost. I have the Warrior of Light at my side. We can do this. Isn't that right, Jaguar? It's the duty action deflect to dissipate the Aether Spheres Lakshmi releases during battle. Be warned that allowing an ally to be enthralled by an Aether Sphere will result in failure. Yes, their sphere. Stand on it. Okay, looks like it. To listen to this song again. Love it. Oh, did we get both of them? Yeah. Nice, another double kill on the orbs. Oh, that's a lot of them. Hit these ones. Oh boy. Luckily we have Ironfall to help us out here.
I shall free you from your hate.
Goodness. There are too many. Can't stop them all. Get them.
Damn it all! It's only a matter of time before we miss one.
Fordola.
What of it? Do you want to kill this thing or not?
Very interesting turn of events. Alright. Take these to the edges. Alright, 'cause these spawn puddles. Or I guess they don't in this version. Awesome. She's over there now. We'll lock her down the best we can. The rest of you need to run. Quickly now, while the primal is... Lise? I can't run away from this. They need us. Then we stand and fight together. Alphino, the envoys are in order. Surely you do not mean to... Very well. I shall see our guests to safety. Get to Fordola. All stunned now. Active time maneuver. We're gonna use this. Oh no. Oh nice, Ferdola can help too.
Not your souls weigh heavy?
It's building up to something big. Come close to me, all of you. Nice work, Ferdola. Are you alright, though? This is nothing. It's one thing after another. You have to fight as one. Oh. I guess Ferdola decided she wanted that spot, and nowhere else. Okay, we've got another stack. To the shield again. Starting to weaken. Don't give up. Oh, that did a lot of damage to everybody. Quickly, I can't hold her up forever. Oh, I see Ferdola's Aether Bar up there. Oh yeah, Lee's coming in with the limit break. Dang, that was a powerful limit break. Killed from 20% health.
We did it!
Another echo vision. More Flodolas passed. Oh, we're getting a vision of when Lys came to take her out from the prison.
What is this?
I'm only gonna say this once. The Ananta just summoned their primal in the throne room. My friends are fighting her, but they need help. They need someone with the echo, and by the gods, I wish I had it, but I don't. I told you before that you still had time, but things have changed. I need your answer now. You can end it like Xenos, or you can fight for Alamigo. Your choice.
Seven hells. It's her, the butcher.
She's getting visions of everyone.
It's done. Take me back to my cell.
You are not forgiven. Not you. You I will never forgive. But I will thank you.
That's a good line.
For standing against a primal and saving us from servitude. You have my thanks.
I'll never forgive you, but I'll thank you. Seems she does still have some feelings for Alamigo after all. It's not all hatred. That was unlike any battle I've ever seen. I'm not entirely sure how I survived it, to be honest. One wrong step, and I would have lost my will to fight that fiend for the rest of my days. It is a sobering thought. Lisa's certainly living up to her own ideal. Not every commander would choose to enlist a former enemy's aid in battle. That was a bold decision. I think I shall make a habit for checking for primal influence before our meetings from now on. We encountered our fair share of enthralled outside the palace, enough to delay us from lending you a timely hand, I'm afraid. Well fought, Jaguar. Ehrenwald. That was a near thing. Aye. Our stand against the Caliana would have been brief indeed had you not volunteered for guard duty. We'd be enthralled as surely as our sentries were. They must have planned this far in advance. Security was my responsibility, and I know how dangerous primals can be. I should have... It's my fault. My stupid mistake. Nay, lass. We were all caught unawares. We'll take this as a lesson. Watch our own more carefully in the future. Yeah. How did she even summon? She used the waters? You can be sure that the lackeys who smuggled the crystals into the throne room weren't the only thralls in our ranks. The soldier who spoke up in the favor of the Caliana keeping their weapons springs to mind. Oh, I see. So they smuggled crystals into the water. Primal's servant is betrayed by his aura. If you mean to conduct an investigation, I can identify any others acting under Sri Lakshmi's influence. Thanks, Y'shtola. We'd appreciate the help. Oh, I better... Her eyes, being able to sense ether, can now help her out a lot. Speaking of help, I almost fell over when Fordola turned up. What was she even doing here? I asked her to come. Well, that explains it then. It's sad, but Ragnfrid was right. Her victims will never forgive her for what she's done. But I don't think Fordola picked up that sword looking for forgiveness. She just wanted to fight for her country. If you say the world in which Fordola grew up is partly to blame for what she became, then as an Alamigan, I feel responsible for improving that world. We can't ignore what's happening right now. We have to show people a better way than vengeance, or we risk giving birth to a new generation of skulls. I know it's idealistic, but I want to help people let go of their old grievances and make peace with each other. And I'll hold 1,000 meetings and talk till I'm blue in the face of what it takes. It is a long and arduous path you have chosen, one well worth walking. Rest assured that I will do what I can to help you reach your destination. Thank you, Alphino. The first step will be to get our representatives back in the throne room. They're a little shaken, but not one of them seemed ready to run. We're all determined to finish what we started. I will see that you're not interrupted, Jaguar. You and the other stallions are to stand down. Get some rest. You've earned it.
Fine spot to contemplate the heavens. The meeting is over. The envoys have chosen to instate a government model on Ishgard's House of Commons, a ruling body of representatives elected by the people.
Nice. Makes sense.
It is a fair decision, and one which signals the end of my part in all this. But I would gaze upon Girabania's stars one last time before I leave.
Oh, the Sultana. size difference. I'm like 3 times taller than her.
Forget something? Your Grace, there was no word.
Raubon Aldin, you are hereby dismissed as General of the Immortal Flames and relieved of your seat on the Syndicate.
But, Your Grace...
Raubon, I am no longer a child. Stay here in your homeland. Work with your brethren. Rebuild Alamigo.
Nice.
You desire to stand alone. I understand, but remember what happened.
I had a feeling she was going to tell him
well
that.
the consequences of my naivety, and thus did I consult at length with a most trusted advisor ere I embarked upon this course.
A most trusted advisor? And what of me? Am I no longer deserving of your confidence?
What trust can there be between us when you withhold the truth from me? Did you think me oblivious to the anguish in your eyes when you spoke of returning to Uldar? For years and years, we have trusted one another. Yet now you refuse to confess your heart's desire?
I swore an oath to you that day on the sands. I pledged my sword.
And it has served me well. But in Pippin you have forged a new sword, as sharp and deadly as the blade you bequeathed him. I will show you a Sultana who can wield every weapon at her disposal, including Lolorito and his monetarist cronies. So follow your heart, please. You are home. You are free.
No more.
Smile for me, Raubon. I would have this parting be a joyous one.
Thank you, Your Grace. It has been an honor to serve you and Uldar.
Tomorrow you will serve Alamigo and fight for the good of all Eorzea. Am I understood?
Yes, Your Grace.
Shooting star. That was such a great moment between the two of them. Ehrenwald is of age with Fordola, both of them born Alamican. One never wanted his Garlean blood, and the other tried to become Garlean but could never be. Similar yet opposite, which would go some way to explaining the tension between them. I went to see Fordola in her cell again. She did turn the tide of battle after all. I thought it only right to thank her. But she wouldn't listen. Said she neither wanted nor needed my gratitude, that I should go away. I don't know if I'll ever understand her.
Thanks for shielding us from Lakshmi, you two. If you hadn't been there, the rest of us would be worshipping her by now.
You're kind to include me, Lise. But we both know who did most of the work. I
could scarce keep track of the battle, let alone land a telling blow. No shame in admitting it. The Warrior of Light has put far better men than me in the shade.
Did I mention that I encountered the Sultana in the palace? It would seem Her Grace has come to Girabania to oversee the final stages of her relocation project. She was in search of General Oldin, and I directed her to the rooftop garden. I do hope he was still there.
Are you in the habit of gossiping about the affairs of royalty, Master Leveilleur?
Certainly not, Your Grace. I was merely informing my companions.
Be at ease, Arfano. 'Twas only a jest. But I must yield the floor to Rauban. He has an important announcement to make.
As of yesternight, I have been relieved of my post in the Immortal Flames and the Syndicate both.
I shall be assuming
That's
my
delayed
father's
reaction.
duties.
Reaction
And may
though.
I say that Tizona has never felt heavier upon my back.
Towards seem
Alright.
I am in need
Is that
of employment.
Rauban's sword on his back?
Mayhap one of my old acquaintances can introduce me to a mercenary company or some such.
You may be getting on in years, father, but you'd struggle to find a band of
Oh, yeah.
sellswords who wouldn't snap your hand off.
He got the sword earlier, near the end of Stormblood. Yeah, I remember now.
Yes, the bull of Alamigo need not be put out to pasture just yet.
Your Grace has developed a wicked edge to her humor, and you, Pippin, would do well not to laugh when the future may hold the same for you.
So, does this mean you're staying?
Aye, that seems to be the way of it. I would be glad to aid you in rebuilding our nation, if you'll have me.
If, he says. Welcome home, Rauban.
Who would say no to Rauban, honestly?
Well, that was unexpected. Though you seem distinctly unsurprised. Either you are more astute than I give you credit for, or I'm losing my touch. In any event, one thing is certain. Alamigo will rejoice at the homecoming of her dearest son.
And the patch title makes sense now. The legend returns. Rauban returning to his homeland. Lys must be overjoyed to know that General Alden is staying, but I suppose I shouldn't call him General anymore. Rauban is the veteran of 100 battlefields. Lys couldn't ask for a more reliable ally to have at her side. I must assume Father's responsibilities without delay, lest our rivals, both inside and outside Ul'dah, treat his dismissal as a window of opportunity. Rest assured, they will find Tizona's edge just as sharp in my hands. So Pippin, I assume, is going to take the playset of Rauban at the Syndicate. I have asked enough of you, Jaguar. My only words for you now are those of gratitude. Seems my road has come full circle. I appreciate the support you showed for my earlier decision, overruled though it was. I think it's about time I headed back to Rauger's Reach. What's next for all of you? Alizé will be eager to hear of recent events, so I shall join you, if you've no objections. I'd welcome the company. Jaguar, why don't you come along to the Reach as well, once you've said your farewells to Nanamo and the others? Oh nice, we can go to the gardens now. Back to Rauger's Reach. Well, here we are again. Alphanos regaled me with a thrilling tale of hidden treasure troves, meeting betrayals, unlikely alliances, joyous homecomings. It would seem I missed everything. I was patrolling the palace grounds with Thancred and Yashola when we heard the report of a primal in the throne room. I honestly doubted my own ears. As the others have said, we were lucky to have our echo-blessed companions nearby this time, but we'll need to keep a closer eye on the Kalyana. You can say that again. This whole episode has reminded me just how far apart our kinds still are. Looks like centuries of fear and mistrust really can't be washed away within a day. But someone has to make an effort at reconciliation if these conflicts are ever going to end. Naturally, a lot of people are crying out for vengeance, but I've been doing my best to calm things down. Violent reprisals will only lead to more summonings. Indeed, violence will ever beget violence, as the Empire has learned to its cost in recent times. In any case, summoning Lakshmi was the Broodmother's doing, and whoever replaces her might not be so keen on the idea. We'll just have to watch and wait. Which isn't to say we'll be putting the safety of our allies in the Vera and M tribes first. Plan to have resistance scouts keep track of the Kalyana's movements at all times. My parents will be relieved to hear that. What are your plans for the rest of the resistance army, out of interest? Are we to prepare for Imperial counterattacks? That would be a question for the Resistance's newest recruit, a military commander with far more experience than me. What? The Bull of Alamigo? We call it an army, but the Resistance is really a collection of smaller, independent groups, and when Conrad passed his command on to me, that authority extended to the freedom fighters based in Rauger's Reach. He just happened to be serving as the Resistance spokesman at the time, and needed someone to take over the role while everything was in disarray. That time has passed. When I speak of the other leaders about reforming the army under the new government, I'll be nominating Raubon as the overall commander of our new forces. He has more experience than the rest of us put together, and we stand to learn a lot from him. Indeed, he is in all respects the ideal choice. Assuming he accepts the post, Alamigo will have added a formidable weapon to its arsenal. And given the progress of Nanamo's resettlement initiative, I see great cause for hope. The siege which we so carefully showed have begun to quicken, my friends. I like that. Tend to our promises and watch as Alamigo blooms. Let's go Setsu. He's back. I do give thanks to the kami that my makeshift raft withstood the fury of the seas. Guess he made it off that deserted island. But there their generosity ended. Without coins in our pockets for a new attire, we are doomed to look so much like Jetsam. Oh, woe betide the poor man in a city of rich merchants. Yatsuyu? These dango are delicious. Will you have one? More sweetbreads? I surrendered my blade to secure what few coins we have. It's like talking to a child. Why fate saddled me with this burden I shall never know, but I am alive, and I must return to my master's side. Come, Tsuyu. You shall find a ship to carry us across the Ruby Sea. Wow, I guess they're on good terms now then. They bonded on that desert island. Meanwhile, in the Imperial Palace. Oh, look at this place. Have you read the reports? First Doma, then Alamigo, and Lord Xenos put to the sword. Do not believe everything you read. Here the Viceroy was merely wounded, that he's already returned to the capital. Naturally, the savages beat their chests and boast loudly of taking his head regardless. Nay, Lord Xenos lives. Deplorable that our own officers should be fooled by Erusian misinformation. Small wonder the provinces have begun rising up in rebellion. We must prepare an official and above all accurate announcement to quell these pernicious rumors. They would wage war with empty words. Let them produce the Viceroy's remains then. We shall soon put the lie to their claims. Who's that? Mysterious. Nice, well that's patch 4.1. Very solid patch. I like how it focused on character developments. We had all the stuff with Raubon in the Sultana. That was really nice. We had developments with Fordola as well. Kind of focused on a lot of one-on-one character moments, which I feel like is a pretty good way to start off post Stormblood, after base Stormblood came to an end. Alright, so later this week, possibly tomorrow, I'll be doing Kugane Tower. So I hope to see you guys all then. I've also got the Yokai Watch event going on right now. Still have to do that, so I'll probably do that later in the week. And then after that it'll be on to 4.2 content. Thanks you all for joining me, and I'll see you guys next time. Yeah, thanks for joining, Parker. Alright, good night everyone. See y'all later.